Government corruption has never been more prevalent or caused more harm. It's why extremism is on the rise. It's why the financial gap between the haves and have-nots has never been wider. And it's why our planet is at risk of an extinction level tragedy. That's why I need your help to keep exposing the truth about the rot on both sides of the aisle. Become a supporter or a friend of the show today by clicking on the coffee link in the description box below. Friends of the show join me on a Zoom hangout once a month, and you guys can ask me any questions you want, and I can get to know you better. But the most important reason to help is to keep the show alive. Together, we can and will save our country and our planet. Thanks in advance and enjoy the show. Hey, everyone. Welcome to Plants and Politics. So we're discovering more and more about what really happened in that horrific mass shooting in the elementary school in Texas. And, we now know that while cops were standing outside using a taser on a father, handcuffing a mother, no one was taking action to save the lives of 19 young children and their teachers. You would have had to kill me. No way you're going to keep me from my child without putting a bullet in me. Anyway, after all of the lies, the police chief is still trying to make excuses. He's now saying they had to have a key. Oh, we didn't have a key to enter the room. Seriously, it took almost 90 minutes to get a freaking key for the room. Finally, after we've had this spate of literally dozens of mass shootings across our country within just a matter of weeks, which of course all started with the other horrific race-based mass murder in Buffalo, New York, we now finally have some potential legislation on the table. So the Senate announced that they've struck a deal, a bipartisan deal, which includes 10 Republicans. And that, of course, is the crucial number in getting anything passed because the Democrats hold only 50 seats in the Senate. And so they need another 10 votes to get anything done. And so here's the good, the bad, and the useless of this proposed bill, as far as I'm concerned. It would provide federal grant money to states and encourage them to enact red flag laws to prevent dangerous people from getting weapons. This, in my opinion, is kind of a waste of time because I highly doubt a state like Texas is going to implement red flag laws. Without something making it mandatory, it's not going to happen. The bill would also require an additional hurdle for rifle buyers under the age of 21. So it doesn't lift the minimum age limit to purchase a long gun, but an 18-year-old wouldn't just be able to walk in and purchase a gun and walk out with it, kind of like the psycho did in Texas. So they would have to wait until a federal background check is done that looks at the juvenile criminal justice system as well as mental health records. So that is a good thing. But I don't understand the arbitrary age of 21. They act as if it's some magical number. Honestly, I don't even understand how they pulled it out of their asses that the legal drinking age should be 21. Science tells us the brain isn't fully finished developing until the age of 25. Until that time, the prefrontal cortex, the part that predicts the consequences of our actions, isn't fully formed. So back to this bill. It would also require more firearm sellers to register as dealers. So they would have to also run background checks. There's some that they don't consider them dealers, and that's just BS. So this is definitely a positive move. The new bill also closes what's known as the boyfriend loophole, and that means that domestic abusers wouldn't be allowed to purchase a gun. This is a big one, and it's a tremendous step in the right direction because although random or seemingly random and race-based mass shootings typically get the most press in this country, domestic violence is to blame for a much higher number of deaths in our country. And believe it or not, they dovetail with mass shootings. Every Town for Gun Safety says that every single month, an average of 70 women are shot and killed in America. And this is by domestic partners. And they report, quote, in more than half of mass shootings over the past decade, the perpetrator shot a current or former intimate partner or family member as part of the rampage. So That's definitely a good thing. In addition to these new weapon restrictions and requirements, there's also proposals included in this bill for funding for things like mental health services, school security programs, armed officers, behavioral intervention programs. Now, what was really telling is that Senator John Cornyn made a statement after this bill, after news of this bill hit the media. He made sure to say to a reporter that this was a loss for Biden. That's what he cared about. That's what he wanted to talk about, that Biden lost. Not his Texas constituents who are grieving and terrified after a heinous mass shooting of little children in their state. Not the fact that we've had more than 200 mass shootings already just in the first 5 months of this year. Cornyn is a sick, demented person, just like his fellow Texas Senator Ted Cruz. And I would venture a guess the only reason that we're finally seeing some action by Republican lawmakers is the fact that over 250 Republican donors signed onto a letter calling for Congress to do something. Even Mitch McConnell now, Senate Minority Leader, has come out and said he will vote for it. So it seems that there's going to be probably even more than 10 Republicans on board with this. All of these people who signed this letter are gun rights advocates, and they've purportedly donated to Texas Governor Greg Abbott. They've donated to many other GOP members. So, it seems that their typical ploy, Republicans, of trying to wait out the news cycle, deflect with other issues, it might actually be failing this time because we're all sick and tired of the thoughts and prayers bullshit. We want action. We want action and restrictions. And I say that as a gun owner myself. One thing I will say that I am concerned about is the piece about the red flag laws is that if you do not marry the red flag laws with some sort of mental health assistance for everyone in the nation, then you're going to end up with skewed data. You're going to end up with this targeting only certain people. It is only the red flag laws are only going to work for people who have more money, people who have health insurance, people who can afford to seek out mental health treatment. So you're going to have only a portion of our country who we're going to have any kind of database on, any kind of background on as far as mental health issues. The people who have fewer resources, if they don't have health insurance, if they don't have an easy, affordable way to get mental health treatment, we're going to have no information on them and what issues that they might have. So a lot of people will slip through the cracks in that way if we don't marry those two parts, if we don't make sure that mental health treatment is affordable or free for everyone in this country. Anyway, guys, as I hear more, I'll let you know. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Take care. I'll talk with you soon.